Do you ever wonder what would happen if
If you give a dad a podcast.
I'm what you call a nerdy fan. I nerd out at this stuff hardcore.
you'll hear me talk about anime on here, you'll hear me talk about Power Rangers, you'll hear me talk about wrestling on here.
Okay.
I had an axe handle with a Twisted Tea on it. It was right after that Twisted Tea video went viral. And man, they went out and grabbed it and smacked a dude in the head with it. It was so...
That's great. I'd like to think of this podcast as a nostalgia moment for me. It's a show where I can talk about whatever I want.
I'm a human animal chiropractor. There was a picture of me. It looked like I was on the side of a ramen box over in China. But
So I took my kids with me to Comic-Con.
I thought that was really cool.
Well, I don't know if my wife should listen to this podcast.
We'll cut that part out.
You hope. Be like, and then Robert said this.
If You Give a Dad a Podcast. Available now on all podcasting platforms.
Did you ever wonder what could have been with the AWA had things gone differently? Had their fortunes gone differently? Had certain wrestlers not left and perhaps more money would have been at the disposal of the Gagnes? Well, wonder no further. You can go to Brad Drake's YouTube channel and experience the 1987 Supermod for yourself, as Brad Drake starts off in May 1987 along with Greg Gagne, Baron Von Raschke, Vern Gagne himself, Nick Bockwinkel, Larry Zbyszko, Kurt Hennig, and a slew of others as he plays and saves the AWA.
Hello everyone, this is Brian Ferguson, the host of Bumps and Thumps, the talk of wrestling. I want to tell you about a new podcast out called Falls Count Anywhere. It is a classic pro wrestling podcast that brings you the legends of wrestling with true wrestling fans Chris DiCarlo and Charlie Turner. They bring on guests that are legends in this business, and as well as wrestlers of today, promoters, referees, you name it. They have them on there, folks, and I encourage you to listen to them. If you're on YouTube, watch them. They drop every Saturday. They have their podcast. They drop it in the afternoon. So look forward to that podcast coming out. Falls Count Anywhere podcast with Chris DiCarlo and Charlie Turner. Folks, you will not be disappointed. I guarantee it. And enjoy the podcast. Hey everyone, this is Brian Ferguson, the host of Bumps and Thumps, the talk of wrestling. We are on today because of you. And in order to continue the podcast and get the guests on here that require some financial compensation, we're going to need help from people like you. Right now, we're attempting to get our YouTube videos monetized through YouTube. We need 1,000 subscribers in order to do that. So I've decided that if the 1,000 subscriber will get a free t-shirt like this from me and come on the show as a guest on the podcast. So subscribe today, and that 1,000 subscriber will be contacted by me and be given a t-shirt and come on the show. So subscribe today. If you already have, thank you. If you haven't, please do, and tell your friends and subscribe today, and we'll talk to you soon, and enjoy the podcast. Thank you for joining another edition of Bumps and Thumps, the talk of wrestling. I'm Brian Ferguson. My guest today is part of the Universal Wrestling Entertainment Company wrestling promotion out of Tennessee. He is currently the Tennessee heavyweight champion. His slogan...
Tennessee state champion.
Yes, excuse me. All right. And his slogan is Bet on Black. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Jackson Black. Jackson, thanks for coming on today. Really appreciate it.
Brother, thank you. I love doing these. These are my favorite part of wrestling.
Yeah, I enjoy it too, and I appreciate you reaching out to me to come on here because I'll be honest, I never heard of the promotion. I know Knoxville is known for wrestling, but I hadn't heard of the promotion. I did a little digging, and it's pretty exciting. It looks very prominent. So thank you again for reaching out.
Oh, no problem, brother.
All right, so let's talk a little bit, if we can, Jackson. Growing up, let's talk about where you grew up at, your raising, and any schooling you've done besides, high school, if you've done any.
Okay, so I was born in Long Beach. I'm originally from California.
Okay.
I amateur wrestled for a long while. Wrestling's always been like a goal,
Mhm.
but life happened, it got in the way. I just remember being a kid, dude, probably, I think it was like 9. And from 9 on until like I started like really getting into girls and I had to take all the posters down, I literally had carpet to ceiling, wall to wall, even in the closet, PWI posters
Awesome.
everywhere, all over my room. They thought I was crazy.
That's great. That's awesome. So, did you do any college, or did you just?
So college, no. There was a unfortunate accident that happened there, so we'll leave that one.
Okay, no problem. I can understand that. All right, so let's talk about. All right, you're from California, and now you're in Tennessee. So how?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so training and things like that, Jack. Let's talk a little bit about that. Who trained you, and how you got into the business, that kind of stuff.
So I got into this business way too late, but I mean, if Action Mike Jackson's around, like we all got a chance.
That's right. Yeah.
So I originally was going to go to JPWA, which is Dr. Tom Pritchard and Glen Jacobs School.
Okay.
April of 2020 or 20, whatever year COVID happened, I was supposed to go, and a week before it got canceled.
Yeah.
So I had to go the next April, and then I stayed there for I graduated. So this is a fun one. This is a good little story. So it's our graduation. It's also my wedding the next day.
Oh, wow.
So
awesome.
I drive from Knoxville to like the tip of Tennessee, Jackson, for a show. Here's our graduation show.
Okay.
And then I from Doc, I trip up the steps, which nobody, does. And then the full heel came out. I just yelled at everybody. I was like, and nobody tried to help me. So I had to do that. I did not. I did the match, and then I had to drive back. So I didn't have to drive back as far, but it was pretty much like a 10 and a half hour turnaround because I had to go back to the venue, which was another like 3.5 hours away from where I was at. And then I got married the very next day.
Well, you must have.
And then after that, I spent. She put me through wrestling school. I'll put her over to the moon. And then I spent probably another 6 months. I don't want to go out there and take bookings and look foolish.
Yeah.
And so now so I did my first match was in December, but I don't even count it because I blew my comeback. It was garbage. And then I'm in the ring with AJ Kazana. It's like December 10th or something. And AJ drops down and he's just laying on his belly. I step over AJ, tear my calf. I'm out all of December. Come back January.
Man. Wow.
So I consider January like my first time. So
yeah.
We're like 52 matches in now. I'll say it's going pretty well. I got a TV show.
Yeah.
I got Mark Jindrak on the same TV show.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to talk to somebody who's been to Mania, and we have a text chain. Wild wrestling is awesome.
Yeah. When I did some research on you, I saw you hosted the Wrestle Talk Live podcast show or TV show as well with Joe Lawson and Mark Jindrak. And Mark Jindrak, I remember him back in the early 2000s when, excuse me, him and Orton, were pretty tight. And he was actually supposed to be, from what my understanding, he was supposed to be the actual 4th member of Evolution. And then it got changed out for whatever reason and it ended up being Dave Bautista. But
they partied too much.
Well, they were in their early 20s, so that's part of life, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Him and Randy partied so much that they were like, "Oh, we can't have them together." So they moved him to SmackDown, and then he became like the reflection of perfection. gimmick that he had there.
Yeah. Let's talk about your gimmick. Okay. How was this character developed, and how did it all come about for you, Jackson?
Oh man. So first off, we started off, okay, I'm gonna give you some fun stuff here. I
right.
don't do this one often. So first we started off with the Hollywood gimmick, because everybody's like, oh man, you look like you'd be an actor, blah blah blah. Until I researched the Hollywood gimmick, and it literally exists in every single promotion on the planet. So I had to cut that. And then I was like, dude, it went from Hollywood Jackson Black to the leading man Jackson Black, which both of those sucked. Then it just moved to me. So it's literally just me with the volume turned up to 11, because I can't keep a gimmick up to save my life. I gotta just be ruthless with everything. But here, I'm gonna give you the good one.
All right.
So there was this company out here called Kapow Wrestling, and I think they've since folded. But they had a promo battle, like a promo contest. Whoever had the best promo got to be in some match of theirs. So like I saw all the promos. Sorry guys, they were all terrible and like really southern and in the car or in the backyard with a dog barking. So I came up with this character, and I'm about to give him to you. He comes out to Boot, Scoot, and Boogie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Larry Lee Lynn. My friends call me Trip L for short. I am a 5-time, non-consecutive Tri-State, Tri-City Cornhole champion. You put them up there, and I'll throw bags against the best of them. That was the character. He had a corner spot, so like I would knock somebody into the corner, and then I would pull out of my pocket the bags, and I'd try to hit them. Dink, dink, dink. I never got to use it, but maybe one day I'll bring them out.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. I mean, you got some imagination. Obviously, your character now going over well. You were.
Yeah,
it's going over well. I mean, I've watched some of it on YouTube and stuff. Your matches.
I can't even be a heel. I can't. I tried.
Well, you've tried, and they're still rooting for you. You're kind of like the Road Warriors, right? When back in the day, 40 years ago, they were bad guys, but everybody's rooting for them because they were different.
Yeah,
they were different, and that's like you. You know, you were recently the Tri-States champion, and then now you lost the internet champion. Excuse me, lost that title, but now you're the Tennessee State heavyweight champion. So you're doing something right, you know. And
I guess somebody likes me.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, I watched some of your stuff, and I'll be honest, I'm impressed. I mean, I give the indies a lot of credit because you guys try so hard and to make a product, and you don't cost an arm and leg to get into the show, you know. And it's unfortunate that it's like that, but I guess that's just the way it is, you know. But I want to talk to you a little bit. You've been in the business for a little over a year, I guess.
Let's
technically,
say like a little over a year, yeah. But taking dates since January, so we're almost approaching a year.
Okay, so
the dates.
Your interactions with your wrestlers. I know you've had Mark Jindrak. Is there anybody else you've been in that's been at WWE or IAEW that you've interacted with? Kind of got some pointers with. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we had Heathy Baby come into JPWA.
Okay.
And he came in and he worked around with Dr. Tom, and all he kept telling me was, "Hey kid, don't get old. Your bones start to creak."
Okay.
I got a few.
Okay.
So I was at a show. They've since folded. It was called 127 Pro Wrestling, and I went to the back. I changed into my street clothes. James Storm walks down the steps, right? And he came right up to me, didn't say anything, because maybe he thought I was like a fan backstage or something. I almost sat on his cowboy hat.
I'm sure.
Then fast forward to that would not have been good. I've been sorry about my damn luck.
Right.
Just a lot. We've interviewed some cool WCW guys as of late. Okay, so this one's cool. I'm in the ring. I just get out of the ring. I'm covered in sweat. I look to my left and I'm like, hey guys, so Natty just walked in. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, Natalia's like right there. She's right there. So like Natty literally came in. My buddy, it was a girl that I trained with and a guy that I trained with. And they literally were like, I don't do that. I interviewed Mick Foley like a couple of weeks ago. I don't get starstruck and stuff. But I was like, okay, so I'm gonna grill Natty. So I did for an hour and a half. It's pretty much like a sit down seminar with Natty, and they were just like, and I was like, so like, I was like, what? I was like asking her all these like, what should I do to be different? She's like, I don't know. I found out that having a gimmick is super hard to do, so you got to just be you and just amp it up. Because gimmicks are hard, man. I PCO and all those guys, I give you all the credit in the world. I couldn't keep it up. I would break immediately. Like immediately. So that was a good one. And then this is a fun one. So it's me. I get to the arena. I usually got to the arena like an hour and a half early so I could train.
Yeah.
So I get there and they're like, hey, you're wrestling Chase Stevens tonight. And I was like, okay. So we're outside talking and he keeps going, so you're the hometown kid, right? And I was like, nah, we both live an hour and a half. So this went on for like an hour. And so we're fighting in the ring. I hold him in a Kimura for like a minute and a half, and he keeps trying to get out, and I keep like elbowing him in the back of the head. I'm like, stay down. So he goes, we're going outside. And I was like, oh crap. I know what happens out here. And he goes, all right, kid, suplex. And I'm like, I got wrestling shoes on. I'm gonna break my feet. So he suplexes me and he rolls over and he goes, are you dead, kid?
Wow.
No, I'm good.
Oh.
But
wow.
yeah, those are just a few.
Yeah.
Boogie Woogie Boy, that guy's crazy. He's got like 10,000 one-liners. Like he don't get me anymore. I've heard them all, but he gets all the other guys and it's super good. They're terrible. They're terrible jokes. All of them are awful. But they make you chuckle.
Yeah, you got to chuckle, right?
Yeah, always got to chuckle. But I haven't had any. I haven't met a terrible person yet in the business.
That's good.
I know they're out there. I know they exist, but I have yet to meet them. Everybody's been really cool.
Yeah, I've only had one person as a fan that I just couldn't believe how they acted. And that was Batista.
That's Mark Jindrak's favorite person.
No, well, maybe he's nice now, but 15 years
he hates him.
Okay, so 15 years ago, we were at an event in Syracuse, and he was just like the biggest, not nice person. Yeah. I won't explicits, but very rude and unprofessional at this event that, we came to get his autograph. He's advertised, but he was just very rude. And I was like, that's the only person I've ever had a problem with. Everybody else I've ever interacted with, professional, nice, talk to you, kind of like yourself, they'll talk to you for a few minutes, sign your stuff, and, but yeah, so hopefully you won't have that. I hope, but so you were trained, Jackson, by Dr. Tom Pritchard, Glen Jacobs at their academy. What was that like for you? Give us a little insight on that.
So I didn't see Glen Jacobs a ton because he's the mayor of Knoxville.
Right. Yeah.
But I with Doc, man, I remember he made us go and do a match like after a week, and he goes, "All right, we're gonna watch it back."
Yeah.
Why am I just threw basement drop kicks the whole match. That's like I kept getting the guy in the corner, Stone Cold Steve Austin stomping him, not giving him any time to sell, and then just drop kicking him in the face. Like, sitting under Doc, man, he's the best of the best for a reason. He's trained everybody from like The Rock to everybody. Yeah. It was humbling because I'm an amateur wrestler, so like I was in there locking up on the wrong side, and because I'm used to a different collar and elbow lock up. Yeah. So Doc, dude, he's just everything I learned from him, like all the basics and stuff. Like like you drill it and drill it and drill it and drill it, and I mean, I don't miss any of that. Like I nail everything all the time now. Like I don't even second guess the stuff because I trained there for like almost 7-8 months. So
Yeah.
it was great, and just the wealth of knowledge the guy has. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I used to give him crap all the time. I would find his old like 2000 when he was doing like the WWF hotline or whatever it was, and he'd be wearing like, these shirts, like these really bright shirts. And I come up with a new one every week, and I'd be like, "Did you pick this out?" I was like, "Cause I remember the first time he's got this drill called Man in the Middle, and you do like 5 different situational, like you do 5 spots, but you'll do them 5 with 5. So you do 20 times. I got to like probably the 20th. I'm dead right now. He said, nope. And I was like, I hate Texas. And he goes, did you just say you hate Texas? And I was like, yeah, sure did. I hate Texas. I know you're from Texas. I hate Texas. And then he just worked me even harder. It was so brutal. And then Glen Jacobs. So I'm in a match. I just finished a training match, and I look to the right, and Glen Jacobs is sitting right there, and I'm like, whoa. And he's like, hey, Steve. And I was like, what? You know my name? And that was like, we met a couple of times, but not a ton.
Yeah.
They just had the Dragon there last week.
Oh, wow. The Dragon.
Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah. My buddy Insane Dane, who works up for Tennessee Championship Wrestling, he actually got to get a ring with the Dragon.
Oh, wow. That would have been cool.
I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish, and I was gonna go back like that week, and I just didn't get off work in time. And then the Dragon was there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, you're the champ, Tennessee State heavyweight champion. They must think a lot. They have a lot of potential. I mean, you've only, like you say, you've been in the business less than a year. So is it coming pretty natural to you as far as being able to, your character, the chemistry with wrestlers, your opponents, or if you're in a tag team? How is that process going for you? You've been in the business about a year, you said. How is that going for you?
I hate it. I hate before every match. I just want to quit wrestling. But like once you get out of that curtain and stuff, it's a whole different game.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of the guys that are like, let's go out there and walk and talk. And I was like, or we can do like this thing, and this thing, and then we can get to those places.
Yeah.
I hate doing the whole walk and talk. I'm not a 10-year vet. Okay, I'm still green, bro. They're like, and then there's guys that'll be like, okay, so we're gonna do this. I was like, you already lost me. Like, I'll remember my stuff. You remember this, because I'm not gonna do all that.
Yeah.
I take an old school approach to it. I like arm ringers, and
yes.
I work a lot of body parts all the time.
Yeah.
I'm all about joint manipulation and all that fun stuff. It's still hard, man. It really is still hard. Like, as for the character's easy because it's just me turned up to 11. So, and I say that, but there's extra to it because I'm not a prick. Like,
I was gonna say,
but
no.
like, I play it up to the people like I am, and it.
Yeah.
Some places hate me, some places like me. I was in Mississippi, and I was like, "Oh man, it's great to be in Oklahoma." And then they were like, "Oh, this isn't Oklahoma. This is Mississippi." And I was like, "What's the difference?" Like,
yeah, that's when you're yourself, you turn it up a notch.
It's more believable.
Yeah, it's more believable. And when you said about the ring, doing stuff in the ring, you're talking old school because you know what? The booker or whoever, matchmaker, whatever they call them now, they used to just tell you, this is how the matches start, and this is how the match, we want it to end. You do everything else in the middle. And I'm glad you do that approach because to me, I'm older guy, I just turned 52 here last Friday. Oh, showing my age here. Anyways, it's a lot scripted now, and you can tell in the bigger promotions, where in the indies I've noticed, and I've talked to a lot of indie guys, this is what we're doing. We get the beginning of the match, who we were facing or whatever, maybe a couple moves, and then we get the ending, and that's it. Everything else is all called, and that's great because it's not scripted, and you could tell, like, if you're pounding somebody a little too much, they might say, okay, that's enough. You can't really see it, but okay, that's good. Let's do this. And I'm glad you have that approach because I think that's a big missing component today for wrestlers.
Am I still?
Yeah,
I agree fully. Okay, wait, where'd I go? There I am. All right, my family.
They love you.
I just can't talk to them at the moment. Let's just chill, guys. But yeah, I like the old school stuff. It got over well. Everybody was over back in the day.
Yeah.
Everybody. I was watching 2003 Raw. The Hurricane had a bigger pop than The Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How does that? Everybody was over. I feel like people try to do too much now.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot. I mean, I do. I do Euros, a bulldog. I stretch a lot. I stretch people out a lot. Submission finishes the Rings of Saturn. Like, I like to keep it. Like I said, forever. Zack Sabre Jr. is probably like my wrestling hero. Like, that guy works body parts like none other.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do. He doesn't do like a bunch of flippy stuff.
Yeah.
He wrestles and it works, and I love that style of Bryan Danielson. Those guys. That's the kind of wrestling I like to do. I'm not I can't fly like them. I'm not like those fly guys. I'm not a Sammy Guevara. I'm not going to do 450s and all of that stuff. Not for me.
Yeah. No, I admire that because when I've watched your matches, I can tell that you have that approach of old school. I think that's why you're doing so well. You're not trying to do too much too fast. You're not trying to oversell yourself either. I think Dr. Tom Pritchard and Glenn, they instilled something in you, or you already had it, to where slow is smooth and smooth is fast, and your character is yourself, notched up a bit, and that's the way it should be. People that know, from what I experienced and what I've talked to people, if you're yourself and you just turn it up a few notches, like you just said, to 11, you're probably going to have a lot more success than trying to be something you're not. Like you said, you were those different characters earlier that just didn't work.
It was terrible.
So
I also take the Cody.
I applaud you for that. So yeah, that's great.
I also take the Cody Rhodes approach to professional wrestling. Like, I just adopted the moniker the California Dream, homage to Cody, who's like one of my favorites, and Dusty.
Yeah.
But where was it going with this? Cody Rhodes. I lost it. Oh no, I don't remember.
That's all right. Hey, I'm just giving you homage because of your approach and how you do it. And obviously you're doing very well, or you wouldn't be holding a championship over your right shoulder right now at a little over a year in the business. So
second title.
Your second title, exactly. It takes some guys 4 or 5 years to even be considered, even in the indies, to hold a title if they're good enough. So kudos to you, my friend. And your family, you have a wife, you have a child, you said. That's got to be a little challenging as well, because you work a regular job during the day and then stuff on the weekends. And what's that like for you as being a husband, father, and a wrestler?
And dude, I got a lot of oars in the water at the moment. But you know what? I go off of like 4 hours of sleep sometimes. Like, it's fine. My wife is like the glue. Like, no, like, couldn't do anything with
Yeah.
that. Or she holds the whole fort down.
Yeah.
She does every. Dude, like there's a show called The League, one of my favorite shows ever. He goes, so if I was single, I'd have like the baby 100% of the time, all the time. But since I have her, I'm rocking like 80% coverage, like 20% of the time. So she's the glue. Like she holds everything together.
Yeah.
She does all that stuff. Super supportive. Like she doesn't ever get a chance to like see me wrestle, but it's not a big deal to me.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad you have a supportive family. That's really important, especially when you're starting out, I think from what I've saw, and I'm not going to jinx it, but I think you got a lot of potential to move up in the world. You're a young man. And I think from what I've watched, and I haven't been to a live show, but what I've seen, you have a lot of potential ahead of you. You stay on the path you're on, my friend, and kudos to you. So let me ask you this. Have you worked with any other promotions outside of Universal Wrestling Entertainment right now?
Yeah, a ton.
Yeah.
127 Pro Wrestling, Tennessee All Pro Wrestling, EPW in Mississippi. There was a K-Town place, MSWA. I know 127 Pro Wrestling, Galaxy Pro Wrestling. Oh, there's more. I forget them. I think I'm almost up to 20 or 21, somewhere around there.
Okay, so yeah, you're developing your craft, and that's good. That's the good thing. And who knows? A few years we might see you.
I want to be in Japan.
Okay.
Japan's always been my goal.
Japan, people that I've talked to that have gone to Japan have always said they've enjoyed it so much, they learn so much, and they get so much more respect when they come back to the States if they were successful in Japan. So
Japan is hard hitting.
Yeah. Have you ever been reached? Has anybody ever approached you about it yet, or is that just a goal that you want to achieve?
Not yet. That is the goal I want to achieve. I also want to do some UK tours. There's like some Scotland stuff out there.
Yeah.
I want to go everywhere.
Yeah.
I always said this is my main thing. I've always said I don't want to be the guy that goes, oh, I got to wrestle this guy, or I got to wrestle that guy, or I want people to be like, oh, I got to wrestle him.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like a cliff note in somebody's career. I want to be like, I want to be the main item on their Wikipedia page.
That's right. Well, that's good. I mean, that's good. You have goals, and like I said, you've impressed me a lot, and I'm sure thank goodness for social media, YouTube, and all that, because that gets you out there more now. Where 25 years ago, you would have had to send in video. Yeah, well, it would have had to send in a lot more. You had to do a lot more. You had to send in tapes or DVDs or whatever to all these other different companies out there in the world, and you still may have to do that of some sort. But I mean, if somebody sees you on YouTube, oh, hey, I saw this guy Jackson Black out of Tennessee. He's got something, and oh, okay, let's take a look. So I think you've got it. I'm not going to jinx it. I'm just telling you, you've got it, and I hope you just escalate to the top. And I'm just saying that because you're on my podcast. I'm saying that because I've watched you, and I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. So, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, my pleasure, my friend. And is your wife originally from California as well, or is she from?
She's from Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I met her out here. Yeah, I'd already been here for a while.
Well, good for you. That's great. I'm glad. So good for you. All right. Well, on that note, my friend, do you want to add anything else before we what are you doing now? What are you doing now? I know you got some other things going on.
I got a TV show. I got that Wednesday. I got some podcast. I got like a podcast coming out. I'm trying to do like a busted open thing. I'm gonna have a bunch of people like rotating guests. I just had to reschedule. I don't know if you've seen him. His TikTok's blowing up. The vet Jack Vaughn.
Jack Vaughn. I've
He's
heard the
got
name.
good stuff. He makes fun of indie. He makes fun of indie wrestlers on his TikTok. It's super funny. Check him out. I just had to reschedule because of a incident that happened yesterday, but I got him coming up and a bunch of people from all over the place. Pro Wrestling Tees, my stuff, all social media and all that stuff. Just find me out everywhere.
We
Come
will.
to a state near you.
I will put all your social media, your Pro Wrestling Tees, everything down in the description of the video and the audio. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Black, up and comer. If you're in Tennessee, Knoxville area, check out one of the shows. If you on YouTube, check out, he's on all of them, and he's a rising star. Jackson Black, sir, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Brother, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. If you're watching, thank you. If you are listening, thank you. And if you haven't, please subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.